Welcome to Yoga Hour. The word of the day today is beautiful. Our mantra in May that I've been working with is kind, beautiful, and capable of big things. And I want to play with that beautiful piece today. Last night, Jason and I were at a restaurant eating dinner, which was so lovely to be out and about. And we were there because it's my birthday. It's my birthday today. Yay! And we were just talking about what's ahead. We always do this on birthdays. I'm sure many people do. What's ahead for the year to come, and really reflecting back on all the bright, beautiful things and all of the really glaring, ugly things of the past year as well, and how all of those things have mixed together. Year by year, there certainly comes in more clear view some of the ugly pieces of the yoga practice. I've grown a lot more, right? And different poses become a little more inaccessible. And yet, like, working with that and through that, I think is the beauty of the practice, that there is such longevity here, and we all move and flow together in ways. So when you pop into things that don't feel great today, use the breath to bring you around, and we'll celebrate the beauty of that. Take a moment to close the eyes. As you do that, settle into your breath. Let the choppiness of the breath at first recognition become a little more smooth, simply by bringing deeper awareness to every inhale, every exhale. And then just nice, easy movement. Nod the chin to the chest, rock the head a bit side to side here. Leave right ear over towards right shoulder. Stretch the left arm, fingertips out along the floor. And right hand on top of the head, the left ear. A little bit of a tug out to the side. And hands back to the legs, chin to chest. Rock left ear over towards the left shoulder. Change it all for this side. Fingertips out to the side. Left hand on top of the right ear. And then bring both hands back to the thighs and nod the chin down to the chest. Lift the head. Open your eyes. Okay, come on over to all fours. Take cat and cow. So hands under our shoulders, knees underneath the line of the hips. And just let the spine move back and forth here in cat and cow. Settle into how the breath is working with the movement of the body here to open. And from cat and cow, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift the hips. Continue a little bit of pedaling of the feet, moving throughout the body, however feels best to you. Walk the hands backwards to your feet. So bend the knees plenty to make that doable. Hang out, ragdoll pose there at the end of your mat for a moment. Sway a little bit from side to side. Hold on to the elbows as you wish. Let it be. Okay, and then we are ready. Roll on up to standing. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms, lift the arms up to the sky. Push through your thumb and your first finger a lot here to rotate and pull through the inner arm bone. Keep the hands interlaced, but flip so that thumb and first finger are now straight up towards the sky. Lean towards your right side. Push your hips off to the left. Come back across the center, up and over to the second side. Squeezing the glutes, press down into your feet. Squeeze the bottom arm up towards the ear. And come back to the middle. Separate your feet hip distance apart, arms as high as the shoulders. Bend the knees, sit low into the legs. Look straight down to the floor in between your feet. And keep asking for a little bit more range. Sit lower in the legs. Press the belly onto the thighs here. But point the thumbs up to the sky and keep lifting your upper arm bones to try to frame around your head the whole time. One more breath like that. And then stand back up, arms back to the sky, feet together. Lean again, off to the right, push the hips to the left. Push all of your weight this time into the left foot and take the right foot out and up. Stay there, find your balance. Back to the center. Second side. Left toes can stay on the floor or get that little lift away. Two feet together here. Good, bend the knees, sit low into the thighs, interlace your hands behind your back. The chair pose, arms bound behind the back, lift the arms up towards the sky as if they want to go overhead. Round the back more like cat pose now to take the belly away from your thighs. Try to have the head on or towards the knees. Release the clasp with the hands, stand up one more time, arms overhead. Now take your right hand, hold on to the left upper arm bone, and again up and over to the side. Lean your head back into your forearm there. Beautifully done. Come back to the middle. Second hold. Up and over. And back to your middle, separate the arms as wide as your shoulders. Utkatasana, bend the knees into the thighs, but keep the torso more vertical and lifted this time around. Right into forward fold. Walk it out to downward facing dog. Lower your knees down to the mat, so all fours, and take the right arm out to the side, and then an open twist, lift the arm up to the sky, and thread underneath, shoulder, ear, side of the face down to the mat. Left hand can stay right there, or stretch out in front, or lift the left hand up. Place the left hand back beside your face. Use it to help you come back upright. You can take the open twist again if you'd like, and come to all fours. Beauty in the breath. Just pause, just breathe for a moment. And then let's take it into the second side. Sweep the left arm up. Thread underneath, again, shoulder, ear, side of the face down. Right hand can go out in front or up to the sky. And then place the right hand back beside your face. Use it to help you come all the way up. The second open twist. And let's find downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the hips. We're going into a few sets of side plank here, so they are quick. Right hand, outer edge of the right foot as you stack your feet. Lift your left arm up to the sky, stay for just half a breath. And then right away, left hand down, flip your feet and lift the right arm up. Again, just stay for half a breath. And then right hand down, flip your feet again. Keep going like this. We've got 3 on each side, kind of finding your rhythm. More of the agility of the pose, not overtaxing as you find the strengthening aspects. And when you've done 3 side planks on each side, find plank pose. Again, 2 hands, all 10 toes tucked in under the floor. And then lower flat down to your belly. Let's put all of our belly down, back bends together here. So hands back, turn the palms up to the sky. Inhale, lift everything that you can up. Exhale, lower down, interlace the hands behind your back and go right back to it. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down, stretch the arms out in front of you. Superhero, inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down, press back to child's pose. And then we'll change to sit on our butt. Take your feet out in front of you. Crab pose or reverse table. Take the hands back behind the line of the shoulders. I like to point the thumbs towards my heels with the fingers out to the side, hanging off of the yoga mat. And then lift up like a table. Squeeze your glutes. And then really press through your feet to lift in the thighs. Tuck the chin slightly so you're looking more at the belly, not up at the sky. Give it a go, right knee up and into the chest and stretch the legs straight up to the sky. And then back into the chest and down. Try it on the second side, left knee up and in. Stretch the legs straighter. In and down. That one's tough. Lower through. Downward facing dog. So we're going to lift the ankles, cross, flip over, and step or jump all the way up and back to dog pose. Guess what? You get to do side plank again, those 3 rounds. Right hand down, left arm up. Left arm down, right arm up. Try to keep the hips in a lifted plane. Go back to the first side. Dance with the movement and the breath. Feel beautiful. 3 side planks each side here. And then back to plank, full plank, 2 hands, all 10 toes tucked. Lower it flat down to your mat. Cobra, push down through your hands and feet. Peel the chest up. Squeeze the glutes so you find safety and strength in the low back and a little arch and opening in the upper back. And again, downward facing dog. Take the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Step it all the way through to a low lunge. Let's bring hands to the waistline, lift the torso straight up and down. For just a moment, bend the back knee so you can really tuck and bring tailbone straight down to the ground in direction. And then we want to keep that neutral pelvis, but straighten the back leg as much as possible. And lift the arms up. Turn the palms in. Reach, reach, reach. Lower the hands around the front foot. Step it back, down dog. This is it to get us going here. Left leg high. Step it all the way through. Take your time, build the hands to the hips. Make sure your feet are still at least hip distance apart so you don't feel like you're on a tightrope. Do that again, subtle bend in the back knee. Rather than letting the butt shift back, we're trying to shift down. And then straighten the back leg again, press through the back heel, lower into the front thigh so there's more stretch in either direction. And then arms overhead. Lower both hands to surround the front foot. Step backwards, down dog. Now bend the knees and walk your hands back to your feet. Hands to your hips. Point the elbows up to your sky and lift up, stand up. Okay, this is my favorite part of the sequence. Right knee up and in. We hold under the thigh to give a little support, push through the standing leg. We've seen it all month. Arms overhead, and then stretch the leg as straight as you can, keeping the heel lifted. Rebend the right knee. Now take a big giant step to high lunge. Same pose you just came from. This time, lower the back knee down to the mat. Pull the front heel back, the back knee forward, and let your hips move down and forward into this deeper lunge, Anjaneyasana. A little vulnerability in that opening of the heart space here. Show off the beauty. Lower both hands around the front foot. Step it again back to down dog. Walk the hands to your feet. We get to try it on the second side. Come on up to standing. Right away, left knee up and into your chest. Arms hook around the thigh. Of course, hands can stay here as you straighten the leg. The deeper challenge piece is arms overhead already and then work towards a straighter leg. Keep it. Even if it starts to lower. All right, let's rebend the left knee. Little bend through both knees so that there's some support as you go into the high lunge. And then ever so gently lower the back knee down. Hips a little down and forward. Let's take our hands behind our back, interlace. Flip the second favorite finger in front. And then open up. Stretch arms straighter. Chest high. That strengthening component that builds safety in the postures. Little grit to make the grace. Lower the hands on either side of the front foot. Step it all the way back, down dog. Inhale, come forward to plank pose. Lower down to the mat. Cobra or even up dog if you want straight arms and legs here. And again, down dog. Look in between your hands, step or jump to the front end of the yoga mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. And place palms together, center of the chest. Step to a nice wide stance, so face the side edge of your mat, long edge of the mat. Extend the arms out in either direction. Good, so nice bright shining star there. Then we're actually gonna take our hands to the waist, hinge from the hip, head forward, and then drop the hands straight down under the line of the shoulders. So we've got that nice long extension of the spine working for us here. If hands flat on the ground is too low, lots of options. You can pop up to the fingertips, you could bend the knees, or set a block underneath the hands to bring the floor a little closer to you. We're adding in a twist. It looks like what we did near the first of class. Right hand out to the side, and then it's the open twist up to the sky. Lower it down. Nice and easy. Give it a go on the second side. Left arm out to the side. And open up. A lot of times I talk about keeping the hips quite square. I want you to give your body the option to move and to kind of hike one hip higher than the other, because why not? See how it feels. And then two hands back down. Okay, look over at your right foot. Dig that heel into the ground, but turn the toes out towards the side. From the ground up, we're moving into triangle pose. Walk the hands over towards the right toes. Here, right fingertips stay on the ground. Slide under a block or slide up onto your shin. That's what I like to do. Imagine that side plank we did earlier and swing the left arm up to the sky, letting your chest, your hips kind of open to the side as we do so. And then the hand goes back down. All 10 fingers find the ground. As you dig the right heel in, turn the toes forward again and walk over to your second side. Dig the left heel in, lift the toes, turn your foot out. And again, hands underneath floor, block, or shin. And then swing, right arm up to the sky. Triangle pose from the ground. Lower both hands down and walk it back to the center. Turn the toes parallel to one another once more. This time, try to send the head all the way down towards the ground. Hands stay about in line with your feet. Head just a little in front. If your legs can straighten here, lift up on the kneecaps and tone in your quads, the front of your thighs, that is. We're building another pose here from the ground. Walk your hands back out. Like we did for triangle, dig your right heel in, turn the toes out, walk the hands over to the side. Now bend the right knee a lot. Bound side angle. Can you drop your shoulders and your chest down towards the floor? Wrap your right arm under your thigh to reach up to the hip. And then that side plank arm that we've been swinging to the sky, do that. But at the end of your range, bend the elbow and drop it behind your back. Find the hands, your pants, air in between to bind to. And then release your bind, take both hands back down beside the foot, straighten the leg again, dig the heel in, turn the toes, and walk the hands over to the second side. So a lot of times we come at these poses more from the top down once we've set our feet, so everything's coming from the base, from the foundation here. Be gentle with yourself. Know that different entries sometimes, at least for me, make me think the pose feels a little uglier. But give it some time. Give it your best effort. Breathe into the beauty. Side angle, bind the hands like we did, second side here. And we walk it all back, again to a wide-legged forward fold. Last time in this wide-legged forward fold, take hold of your ankles, bend the elbows out to the side, and keep reaching your head down and your hips up. Take your gaze back towards the front end of your yoga mat. Change to a low lunge, change to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Sugarcane pose is next. If you have a block handy and like to use it, great. If not, you keep more bend in the knees and you take the accessibility that's for you. Right leg high, three-legged dog here. Step it all the way through to your low lunge. We played with this in our Wednesday class this week if you're looking for more guidance, but we're just gonna see what happens here. Take your right hand a little more out in front of you or underneath a block, and then kick your left heel up and into your butt. Reach your left hand back to try to hold on to the front of your foot. Curl the chest like cat pose. And then from here, the pose opens as much as we can open it. Point the knee more back towards the end of your mat. Awesome quad stretch there. Maybe standing leg goes straighter, and then you open the hips more like side plank. And finally, release the bind of your back foot so that the left arm gets to go up to the sky. Okay, guys, we're gonna try to shift to side plank from here. So you lower the left leg down, right hand to the floor, and then the right foot scoops back. I like to cross ankles in this variation and change to downward facing dog. Second side. Give it a chance. Lift your left leg up. Step it all the way through. It's like muddling down like a lotus flower, right? It's got to close in first, dig down into the dirt. So left foot, left hand, take the weight. Scoop your right hand to the front of your right foot, kind of round in the whole body like cat pose. And then we start to bloom. Right knee goes back, torso long and forward. Straighten the standing leg a bit more and turn and open the hips. Still holding on to that back foot for Ardha Chandra Chapasana or sugarcane pose. And then open it up, right hand to the sky. Full bloom, half moon. To get this into side plank, it looks like coming down towards low lunge, left hand to the ground, and then scoop the left leg back to the right, side plank. Change to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. And slowly roll up to standing this time. Shoulders up and back a couple of times. Elevated pigeon pose, it's a balance. You can always take your hand closer to a wall or try our best in the center of the mat. Okay, it's gonna start like a figure four. Cross your right leg over the left here, point the knee out to the side. Let's go like that today. And then bend in the bottom knee. Hold on to your foot and your knee. Pick it up, stand up. Try to keep pointing the right knee straight out to the side. Really flex and broaden through the toes here. I think we know the different options. We can scoop our arms, forearms underneath the shin and cradle, or elbow crease around the knee and foot and cradle. The thought is that we do get our torso upright here. Sometimes I bend the bottom knee, the standing leg, to make that a little bit more doable. But that's one of my grunty, groany parts through each day and year as I age. It's just not gonna happen the same way. Lower it down and release. See what happens on the second side. Let it surprise us. Figure four shape. Bend and fold over. Hold on to the leg. Try to stand up and balance. Change the grip as you'd like. We are trying to keep the heel as high as the knee. It's hard to do. And then stand back, 2 feet to the ground. From mountain pose, lift both arms up to the sky. Kick the right heel towards your seat. Hold on to the right foot. You choose inside or outside grip of the foot. It's a difference in how it feels best for your shoulder here. Rotated either way. Take it into dancer pose. Again, that little bend in the bottom standing leg can help create a little more space, ease for hamstrings and low back, get you into more of an upper back bend instead of trapping you low. Okay, we stay on this side. Try to come back up. And then pull the right knee up and into your chest. Hold on to the right foot and stretch it straight out in front of you. Now, can you change hands in the midst of all this? Left hand holds on to the pinky toe side of your foot and extend your right hand back behind you. Tone and turn the abdomen. Try looking to the side or even back. Make both legs as straight as they go for right here, right now, this breath. That's the perfect beauty. And then it all comes back down. Thankful to have 2 feet on the floor. Second side. Start with your dancer pose. Kick the left heel to your seat. Hold on to the left foot. Again, you get to choose your grip there. Flamingo here, straight up and down. As you hinge from the hip, changes into Natarajasana. From Natarajasana, we come back upright, left knee into the chest. You can skip that same hand hold if you'd like, and then go right into opposite hand to the pinky toe side of the foot, more of that curl of cat pose that we tried a little bit earlier to come into sugar cane, and then stretch out right from there. Arms, legs go as straight as they work. Little twist in the upper body. And release, 2 feet down to the ground. Happy again to keep 2 feet on the ground. Bent knee forward fold. We always say this, that means bend your knees in a forward fold. Let yourself just kind of take it all in here. It's not always about extending fully out. You've got to fold in, check in. And then change to a low lunge with the right foot forward and the left foot back. Lower the left knee down to the mat. If you need more cushion under that left knee, please give it to yourself. Fold over the mat, slide a blanket there. And then come up, hands to your front thigh. We'll add a quad stretch here. Left heel towards your bum. And then reach the same hand, like you did in dancer pose, to try to hold on to your foot. This time, if possible, though, we want the heel to stay in towards the outer sit bone while you send your hips a little down and forward. Find the grip of the back foot that's going to work. Good, nice slow release there. And then just switch to the second side. Left foot forward, right foot back. As always, feet stay hip distance apart, so you've got a little room to find your center, your balance. Back knee goes down, hands up to the front thigh. If your hip flexor is feeling quite tight, this might be plenty of stretch right here. If you're adding on, it's back heel in. Hold on to the back foot. Sometimes the activity is to push the foot away from the butt. This time we want it to come as close in as possible. I'm going thumb on the big toe side of the foot and then trying to flip my fingers around and elbow up to the sky. And then we'll slowly release. Downward facing dog, just to kind of stretch it all out. Lower the knees down, cross at the ankles, sit down, legs out in front of you. Sit on your butt with the soles of the feet on the mat. Hook your hands underneath the crease of the knees. Excuse me. And then work your feet off of the mat, about knee height. This is boat pose here. We're going to move with boat pose. I want you to find your most lifted, highest extension in boat pose, whether it's arms off or on the legs, legs bent or straight. And then I like to think of the second version like a canoe. It's lowered longer, halfway down, and then try to come all the way back up. We're doing it 2 more times, halfway down and back up, halfway down and back up. Hold, breathe. Lower the feet to the mat. Stretch your legs straight out now. Shoulders over our hips. Everybody's favorite, we work towards seated pigeon pose now. Just like we did in our standing elevated pigeon, you've got the 3 different holds of the right leg here. You choose, hands around, foot and knee, forearms locked underneath the shin, or the elbows around the foot and knee. And that's our prep for one hand arm pose. So we're gonna wear that right leg now like a backpack best we can towards the shoulder. As we hook, hands down, squeeze the inner thighs towards the midline. round the back, look a little forward and down to lift your butt, and then come slightly more lifted to lift the heel. Everything goes down to the mat, both legs straight. Shake it out. Second side, we get into our seated pigeon pose. Option is always to stay and work with seated pigeon pose longer. Skip the arm balance. But if we're talking grit, grace, ugly, beautiful, always giving it a try, makes me feel my best. Hook left leg over the shoulder. Ooh, lift the butt, lift the heel, squeeze it in, and release. We're again crossing at the ankles, flipping over onto our knees to downward facing dog. Take both hands more towards the left side of the mat so there's enough room to step your right foot forward to a low lunge. Hands on the inside, lizard lunge. Another one that we've been working on all month. Drop your right shoulder down as much as possible. Hook the right thumb and first finger behind your right heel. Squeeze the right leg close to the upper arm bone like you just did for that backpack pose. It's the same thing, just a different vantage point. Feeling good there? Slide the right hand to the outside of the foot. So you've got both hands and your foot all about in the same line. All right, can we lift that left knee up onto the left upper arm bone? So you hop, hop, hop in, getting towards one-legged crane pose. The left leg is like Bakasana. And then we try to squeeze right leg again towards upper arm bone to pull the heel off of the ground. Maybe even extend the right leg out. Step it back to downward facing dog. And then I've been playing with side plank at the end of that. Open up like a rainbow. Send the left arm overhead. And then back to downward facing dog. One-legged crane pose. Second side. Walk the hands more towards the right side so you can swing the left foot forward into the low lunge. Again, any of these stages make a good stopping point, so you're picking yours. If you're working with limitation and injury on one side or the other, honor that. From the horseshoe, go left hand to the outside of the left foot. That sugarcane pose is where we found the rounding of the upper back and that pull of the right foot off of the ground, like cat pose in the body to set the right knee onto the upper right arm bone. And then think more butt down rather than back and out to bring the left foot off of the ground. And again, left foot can stay in or extend out. And then we're going to slide it back towards down dog. A breath to open us into side plank, left hand down, right arm up. And then like a rainbow, take the right arm longer overhead, big side body stretch. After all that crunching in. And back to down dog. Ooh, let's honor ourselves in that work through plank, down to the mat. Hands wider than the mat, fingertips to the earth, elbows up to the sky for this cobra pose. Lift. Stay in this wide look at Cobra for a couple of breaths. And then lower it down and flip over onto your back. Soles of the feet to the mat. Bridge pose, press down into your feet, shoulders, head, with the hands grazing the back of your heels. Lift your hips up. Squeeze the glutes. Interlace the hands. We've done that a few times. Take that second favorite grip again. And roll the shoulders a little more up and in. Tendency in bridge pose is to turn the feet out as necessary with knees, hips, pelvis. Let that happen. But if it's simply a tendency, but it's okay, you do the hard work to point toes straight ahead and big toes stay down onto the mat. And then release the bind in the hands and lower the hips down. Pause there for a moment. See the big, bright beauty of you. Feel it. Your choice here, yogis, you do a second bridge pose. Lay on the mat a little longer, just like this. Or upward facing wheel. That takes the hands behind the head, sort of line of the shoulders, elbows up in our peripheral vision. Start with bridge pose in the legs, and then use the weight to push into the feet so that the hands can lift head off of the ground, and then straighten the arms and lift the torso higher. I like to lift the heels to get a little more space, try to walk it in, all the good work. And safely make your way back down. Now we get to hug the knees in. Give yourself a good squeeze. Do pigeon pose again, now on your back. We're going to do that through the all fours, or figure four shape. Right ankle over the left thigh. Point the right knee out to the side. Again, one stopping stage there. You lift the head and shoulders off the mat enough to take any of the 3 binds of the right leg that we did in our seated or standing pigeon. Try it here on your back. Okay, carefully take both legs down to the mat. Before we go to the second side, I'm going to make you flip back and forth a little bit. Flip back over onto your belly. That should have been your right leg. We're going to take the right knee forward behind the wrist. So a fourth final look at pigeon pose here. Extend the left leg out. And of course, if this version of pigeon is a little, if it brings any pain, then you could do the one that we just did on our back instead a second time. We're going to leave it low and soft here, a few more long breaths. And then slide into forearm plank. So I'm down on my forearms. I'm going to try to keep it there. Tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and slide the right leg back. Hold forearm plank for just 2, maybe 3 breaths. And then onto the belly, turn over onto your back. Left ankle in figure 4, across the right knee. You're here and staying here, or taking it into your supine pigeon pose, any of the 3 holds, hand to foot and knee, forearms under the shin, eye the elbows around the foot and knee. The thought is the head and shoulders are as lifted as the extended leg. For example, on my right side, I can lower my I can lower my left leg all the way down, so I can also lower my head and shoulders. But when I'm working my left hip here, that's not possible, so I just keep the head and shoulders lifted, chin a little tucked in to the same height that my extended leg is off the floor. All right, slowly release. Turn back over onto your belly. Slide the left knee behind the left wrist, heel towards the right hip. Walk the right leg back until you can come down to the forearms. If you're propping something with a block, I prefer to prop underneath the forearms and make your legs still continue to do most of the work, versus propping underneath the hip. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee off of the ground. Tone in the abdomen to slide your left leg back to forearm plank. Lower the knees and shift back to child's pose. Bring your torso upright, shift your legs out in front of you. Take the right knee up and cross over, sole the foot on the ground, both hips pretty even against the ground. And take the twist, left elbow to the outside of the right thigh, or hold around the front of the shin. Allow your spine to be more upright and lifted, not leaned back too much on the anchored right hand. Slowly unwind. Let's do it on the second side. Left leg in and over. And again, your twist is holding the front of the shin or elbow to the outside of the thigh. One side might be a different grasp than the other. Asymmetrical bits can really highlight the biggest beauty points in the body. Untwist, extend both legs straight out, arms up to the sky, exhale, forward fold. I hope it goes without saying that the beauty that we create, that we enjoy, that we expand in this yoga practice, it's nothing about the aesthetic standards. It's lifting ourselves from the inside. You fold in here, you breathe in to that deep seed, fullness, enoughness. Grace. From the seated forward fold, change to a still final pose. So unwind to get yourself there. You can lie down on your back in a typical Shavasana. Maybe it's resting on your side against a wall today, or a seated position, whatever it is. Find your space. And from where you are, take a little wiggle through fingers, toes, reigniting that connection, breath, body, movement. If you're lying back, take the time to come back to a seated position here. And palms together, thumbs to the sternum. As a way of honoring the ugly, the beauty, the all pieces of the practice, and taking that into the day. We'll close in the sound of Om. Sing along, listen, tune it out. Empty the breath here. Deep breath in. And full gratitude to yourself, each other, this practice. Namaste. All right, thank you.